So I just realized that my last video recorded about 40 seconds and then clicked out. So I was at the park, thought it would be nice to record from outdoors, and for whatever reason, it didn't work. So I want to go back to what my message was in that last video. Is one of the things that I've noticed has come up fairly frequently lately with clients is the whole concept of where does grief and accountability fit together? So, if we were to summarize accountability, it would be the understanding that nothing happens to us, everything happens for us and through us. Our job is to get clear about what the gift or the lesson is in whatever experience has come our way. And that when we can figure out what the lesson is, we can figure out how to apply that lesson, and then have any experience in our life be an opportunity for growth, and maybe even joy. So people are a bit confused sometimes or struggle with, so how does that apply, for example, in relationship to a loss? So it could be the death of somebody, could be the ending of a relationship. And so it feels like a dishonoring of grief to go to accountability. So to go to that place of trying to look for a lesson, trying to find a lesson, and not just be in the experience and the emotion of what it is to just be sad. So what I want to just say is that all are okay and all are helpful and all are important and meaningful to move any experience to the growth joy experience. So it's not about, accountability is not about bypassing grief. Accountability is the recognition that if I am stuck in grief, if I'm never allowing for the opportunity to distance myself from my sadness and my emotion to be able to go into the introspective space of self-awareness and lessons, is then I can become all sorts of things, like depressed, like a very stuck victim to the things that are occurring outside of me. And so instead of it being an either or, I want you to consider how both could show up. So how could I honor my emotion without getting caught in it and staying stuck in it? So I know that I have met people that have had experiences that are 10, 15, 20 years old, and they are still very heavily laden and weighed down in the grief piece. Or I've had people who have said, I don't know that I've ever allowed myself to grieve, and that I toughened up. I went to resilience. I went to faith. I went to many things, and that I feel like the grief is now stuck in my body. So how to distinguish when is then the next challenge. So when is the appropriate time to move from the emotion, to move from the experience of sadness to that accountable piece? And that will be as individual as you are. So there are many who might say, there's 6 months to a year, or 18 months would be the max. I think that for me, and what I would hope for you, would be your ability to still stay present to what you're noticing and what you're aware of. And it's when it starts to keep you from the things in your life that are your regular things or ways of being. So when you've been out of your routine for weeks, maybe months, when your self-care is lacking, you're no longer enrolled in basic things like taking care of your body, you're not eating properly, you're still not sleeping, is that when those things start to affect your quality of life, then perhaps it's time to address how long it is that you feel it's appropriate to stay inside the grief cycle. So it would be a based on results piece, is that if I'm not getting out of bed and weeks have gone by, I'm not back enrolled in some of the normal things in my life, I'm staying away from people, from relationships, from any experience of happiness, is then perhaps you are in that space of being stuck. So I hope that helps clarify. So just to summarize, it isn't one or the other, it's both. And it's the ability to be able to distinguish when the appropriate time for you is to move from grief to accountability, and then leverage what you've learned in accountability so that you stay grounded in, no matter what experience has come your way, is that every opportunity is an opportunity to grow and become a grander, greater version of yourself. So thank you. Hope that supports you. If you have any questions, please feel free to post. I would be happy to do my best to respond. Have a beautiful day.